Hello, my name is Frank Suglia and I'm the Director of Technical Sales at BitTitan. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this presentation. I would like to talk to you today about moving 100% to the cloud. Can you get there? What does it take? And what our actual journey looked like. First, some background on who BitTitan is. Over a decade ago, we started building software to help IT service providers drive cloud adoption. Today, our industry-leading platform helps IT professionals assess, deploy, and manage cloud solutions with greater profitability. Like many organizations, we have an IT infrastructure, but also have a SaaS product that we sell to IT service providers and internal IT around the world. As you can imagine, we have a very complex environment. Let us look at some history first. Think back to around 2007 when Box.net came out, and then 6 months after, EC2 came out with computing. At that time, there really were not many cloud offerings. We had an internal data center, we had co-location facilities, but really nothing in the cloud. We started our move to the cloud approximately 5 years ago. We started this trek early on because we wanted to push the envelope. Fast forward to today in 2020, and we are still not 100% in the cloud. Let us now spend time talking about why we chose to move to the cloud, the things we moved, the difficulties we encountered, our implementation, what our IT organization did back then, and what our IT organization does today. So from a business perspective, what does the transformation look like when we think about digital transformation? When we started, we had a very heavy IT team, approximately 20 people total. When we really started to ramp our transformation, we have moved from IT acting like a police officer to a partner with the business. The fundamental shift is not organizational but cultural. It is a must to start at the top. Any organization's leadership must promote this change for it to be successful and drive collaboration across all departments. At BitTitan, the role of IT was historically concerned with the policing of technology. Furthermore, we strove to centralize everything and control purchasing. Individual departments could not buy any technology, whether it be a hardware device, software, or a server. All installs of the PC were fully locked down. If IT did not approve it, you would not get access to it. Once a purchase was made, IT deployed it, administered it, provided end-user support, and controlled everything. What we realized was that this was just not a scalable model. When you look at IT to police everything, your focus is on growing IT to stay on top of it all and creating multiple subject matter experts. This approach was slowing down our business, and we just were not growing fast enough. We also were not able to hire employees fast enough, and our departments just fundamentally were not able to transform themselves and remain agile to facilitate growing the business. Fast forward to today, and the current mission statement for IT is to partner with departments and employees to solve business problems with cost-effective solutions. And we use cost-effective loosely because this is different in every single organization. Cost is not just what you pay, but also the opportunity costs associated with not enabling the business to freely grow. This more holistic approach fosters business growth and removes the natural inclination for IT to start with no and avoid what was once just more stuff to manage. Now IT is in the business of employee productivity and protecting the business. This approach puts IT on an equal playing field as all other business functions and often acts as the linchpin to enable the business to adjust quickly and utilize systems that enable them. So what are our employees and our IT department doing today? IT's first goal is consistent connectivity and infrastructure availability. We have employees in 13 different countries with 2 major offices, one in Singapore and one in Seattle. And of course, business continuity is very important, especially in our Seattle office with nearly 100 employees. When these services are unavailable, the amount of loss in productivity and money is approximately $250,000 per hour. IT's second goal is governance of security and data. Security has always been a concern for IT, but it has transformed due to the cloud. Now we have many SaaS vendors, not just Microsoft and a few other major players. Now data may span multiple applications. Governance becomes more challenging, and we must meet several regulatory guidelines, all while protecting employee and customer data. With the proliferation of SaaS software across the organization, cost control now becomes even more important. With a move from central purchasing to allow the individual departments to purchase their own solutions, the buying decisions align better with the business, and there's a natural inclination to buy what is necessary to truly support the business versus nice-to-have software. IT is still a partner to help them evaluate purchases, but now that they know they must pay, we are seeing more thoughtful purchases. We also build in concern for the employee experience into everything IT does. One major topic that we think about a lot is mobility, because not only do we have people working remotely, there is a new breed of employee that travel frequently. We do not want to discourage this, rather, we want to make it a perk that makes working at BitTitan more attractive. Finally, we believe IT should not be a bunch of subject matter experts for internal applications, but more of what we call integrators. The focus is now on bringing applications and data together to become more insightful to further enable the business. So why cloud? Looking back on our journey, we have been able to save money by eliminating numerous servers. In the past, we had to maintain servers for Skype and Exchange. Now we have Office 365. Maintenance for these servers and applications is done by Microsoft and no longer our responsibility. This results in higher availability, better cost accounting, and negates the need for IT to spend time on maintenance, patching, and updating. Let us now talk about the implementation. We will not go into all the details, but instead focus on how we categorized initiatives by difficulty. Let's just get this out of the way. Nothing was easy. There is just too much for IT to consider. Where we are today was 5 years in the making. The things we discussed earlier, like security, we realized are always evolving and we continually iterate to match the growth of the business. Continuing with security as an example, you first must understand how secure your data is, and then make sure you adjust to keep it secure as the business changes and other applications are integrated. This all comes with the consideration of how your actions affect employee productivity. Secure data with a loss of productivity is not a growth enabler. Now that we know nothing is easy, what do we consider medium? Medium initiatives for us typically require a fair amount of research and some level of specialized skills. Let us discuss how we moved to Office 365. We're not going to cover the migration, but rather go into what it looks like from a user perspective. Standing up Office 365 is a well-documented thing. Where the challenges lie are adoption. You need to make sure that employees are using new tools to drive productivity and maximize your investment. OneDrive for Business is a great example of a change that we found took some time to promote. Employees are not going to automatically use OneDrive. They're still going to save all their stuff to their desktop, to their downloads folder, and documents folders. In the end, you must ensure that data is being backed up and retained in the cloud. We found that there's a balance between governance and training that drove the required cultural change. Ultimately, the individual departments all realized they had skin in the game since they made the purchase from their budgets. This created departmental evangelists driving change. Now we get to the difficult stuff. These will be initiatives that either require a lot of research, a lot of external help, many resources, and might not even be possible today. Right now, we are working to move desktop management from SCCM and group policy to Intune. This has been almost 2 years in the making for us. There have been numerous calls with Microsoft telling us it's just not possible right now. It's not a direct one-to-one replacement. Even so, we are almost at the finish line. We've done a lot of custom scripting and employed third-party apps to help us get there. After all this hard work, there will surely be a celebration when we hit the point where we can start deprecating our SCCM environment. Another difficult project has been around hardware authentication. In this area, the goal is to have single sign-on for all SaaS applications from a central administrative perspective. This is still something we're unable to do. We will continue to drive toward this goal, though. Difficult projects are just part of our transformation. Now that we've arrived at current day, what does the day-to-day work look like for our IT department? We're doing a lot less server deployment and management, that's for sure, but we continue to do a lot of integration work and employee enablement. As we move forward, we will use the focus areas we defined earlier to describe change. Governing security and data are a daily effort. We continue to strive for centralized single sign-on and uniform employee access control. Access control is critical because it allows us to add an employee and grant access, in addition to removal of access easily when an employee departs. Now, not only are we able to leverage single sign-on, but we're able to quickly expire tokens across all devices as part of our security policies governing onboarding and offboarding. There are still gaps because not everyone supports single sign-on, but we have developed an auditing approach to account for these gaps and report against our governance metrics. Now that we have rolled out all these cloud applications, we return to any remaining third-party software purchases to determine if people are still utilizing them or if they are even needed. Next, we assess Azure resources on a weekly basis. Our Azure use is constantly scaling up and down. Leaving unnecessary resources in place like disks and IPs costs money. We make sure to stand down VMs and all associated resources as a standard practice. We also do regular license audits to make sure we do not have licenses sitting around doing nothing and costing money. Employee software profiles help us make sure all our employees are licensed correctly and they do not have more than they need. Improving employee experience is a huge focus for us as it has a direct correlation to their productivity. The first step to productivity is proper onboarding. Onboarding is a major focus for us. That first week for a new employee means everything and sets the stage for a positive and supportive experience going forward. Training is another huge area we spend time on. Here's a great example. We implemented Teams 2 years ago. We still have employees that are not fully utilizing Teams. Making training a regular occurrence beyond onboarding keeps employees up to speed on our tools and reinforces their usage. Finally, self-service is a great way to hand over tasks that IT used to do, such as password resets and BitLocker recovery, to the employee. This frees up IT to act more as a partner rather than as police. The last area we look at day to day is integration. Our engineers are always looking to drive integration so that data can be more available and greater insights can be found. We strive to use automation to reduce work and increase predictability. We also monitor all systems and benchmark so that we have a clear picture of improvement. So that is a window into our journey to the cloud. Like I said earlier, we are not 100% cloud at this point, but we continue to drive toward that goal because we believe it affords our business the best tools to support employee and business growth. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for being a part of the Galactic Collaboration Summit. Join the community and meet in-person world-class Microsoft and MVP speakers this autumn in Wiesbaden, Frankfurt, Germany, with 15 full-day tutorials and over 150 Microsoft 365 and Azure sessions at the combined European Collaboration Summit and European Cloud Summit from 26 to 28 October 2020. Community rocks.